Hey, this is Tiqqle, and in this video we're going over the latest PvP talent change for an elemental shaman. We've got a lot of changes, and now we got a new control of lava. Probably one of the least favorite PvP talents of past for the good old LA Shaman, but now we got a new one. Let's go ahead and look at the new one, ignore the old one. Flame Shock damage occurs at 15% more often. If Flame Shock is dispelled, a volcanic eruption wells up beneath the dispeller, exploding for 5.5k damage and knocking them into the air. Okay, this is giving us some spell protection for Flame Shock, something people have been asking for forever. If you didn't remember, in BFA, they reduced the proc chance of Flame Shock to proc Lava Surge. And now in Shadowlands, they've knocked down the damage of Lava Burst by a little bit. But still, it's the core of an elemental shaman. Everyone loves the meatballs, and it generates a ton of Maelstrom. So let's go ahead and see a few things. I'll show you what it looks like in Ellie. Then I'll play Resto to show you how disruptive it is and what type of damage it does. And then we'll go into the proc chances. Is that 15% significant? And does it lead to more Lava Surges? I want to thank Zapit, by the way, for staying up so late to help me out here. Let's go ahead and give it a go. This is what it looks like, and this is how much damage it's doing. We're going to go ahead and make this as big as... Oh, there he goes, up into the air. Now, we'll go ahead and look at... Oh, he got double procced. For some reason, it procs twice sometimes. I don't think that's mastery. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but it did 5k damage. Remember, versatility is going to counteract some of the damage, but this is where it's at. 5k is not bad. 5k is not bad. It is dispelling it, but every time he dispels, 8 seconds is the cooldown of a dispel. 6 seconds is the cooldown of Flame Shock. So this is actually pretty nice. And if I do damage to him, my Flame Shocks or my Lava Bursts aren't even doing as much damage as that Dispel. So it seems pretty good. This means that it's giving us some Dispel protection. When a healer wants to go out there and start dispelling our Flame Shocks, we're going to say, not today. I can't proc twice. Maybe it's mastery. I don't know. But we're going to go ahead again and see how we can get it, get it going on here. If we can get a crit with it down, it does hit for about 5k non-crit. And then if it crits, we're going to be hitting up to 10, 11k, which is pretty nasty. And we can also combo things in like L Equilibrium, which we can do as well, So that's all part of the new talent. And I'm actually pretty excited about this. I think it's going to be pretty fun and useful to have something to help our Flame Shock. We'll get to the topic of what do you sacrifice in a little bit. But that's what it looks like. So it knocks him up in the air as a healer. There's the crit, 10k. Again, why did it overload? Why is there 2? I cannot tell you the answer to that. I don't really know. Details doesn't even know what's going on. See, it's going to start erroring. But it has actually pretty good damage, so I'm pretty happy about it, honestly. Flame Shock needed some of this love, and it will make us think a little bit more about what comps do we play. Now we will provide some Dispel protection for our Boomkin friends, for our Asp Priest friends, for some other people. It could also help if you're playing with a Paladin. They could normally dispel a Hodge. Well, now if they do, they're going to get thrown up in the air. So that's how much damage it does, 5 to 10k, which is pretty good. Now let me show you what it looks like if I'm the Resto Shaman. Because I want to show you, what does it feel like? What's the deal? Because I want to dispel it up and show you, okay, how high am I going in the air? How much time does that take away from me? Is it CC? Can I do things that, all those questions, let's answer them right now. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to chill here for a second and let him get a little, I'll get some mana here. Oh, I will not get mana. We're going to dispel right now. I'm going to go, I'll be running. Dispel throws me straight up in the air and I can keep running. So if you look at the timer of my global cooldown, which is about 1.5 seconds, that is going to be the amount of disruption that's going to come out of this. What I'll try to do, oh, by the way, he crit with Sky Fury. What happened to me? He crit me with Sky Fury for 10k. That's pretty dope. Now what I'll try to do is I'll dispel, I'll Riptide as I land. So like it is really the same duration as a GCD. So you're up in the air for about 1.5 seconds. You might ask yourself, well, is that really that significant then? Because they're on GCD anyway. Yeah, it is, because they're going to think about it. They're going to think about it because I'm taking some pretty nasty damage. He's not doing anything other than just putting that Flame Shock on me either, which is doing between that 5 to 10k, which is not bad. Realistically, 5 to 10k is a little bit more than 10k health. At 10k is obviously, that's between 10 to 20% health potentially. I don't know where the health pools will be at 9.1, but it's pretty cool to test this out and see that, again, what's this double proc? I don't understand the double proc, but it's a good question. Yeah, apparently Sky Fury crit didn't scale with it, and I'm hearing that L Equilibrium isn't scaling with it, which is kind of weird. I hope Blizzard fixes that so you can max this damage out as much as possible. So it's actually pretty awesome. All right, so that was the testing of the damage. Now you might say to yourself, well, Tiqqle, there is a whole component of this that says the Flame Shock is going to do more ticks. Well, let's go ahead. I did a little bit of testing of this. I did 10 trials using haste low, haste high, using the talent, not using the talent. I know 10. I know there's a lot of math people in the chat that are going to say, or in the comments, they're going to say, that's not statistically significant. Well, you're right. If I did it like 50, 30 times, 1,000 times, simulated it, sure. And the results maybe aren't the most trusted, but at least it's what I did and it's the results I got. So with Control of Lava out, I was able to get, with 6% haste, I got 12 ticks total, and I got an average of 1.1 procs over those 12 ticks. Of course, this ticks means the Flame Shock on hit damage and all the ticking damage after that. Without Control of Lava, I got about 0.9. That was a little bit less than 1 proc per Flame Shock. This is one target. And of course, in PvP, you're going to have 2, hopefully 3 Flame Shocks out. But that's where it's at. Now, if you went more haste and you start to amplify your, the rolling of this Flame Shock, well, where does it get to? Well, it got up to 14 ticks with 25% haste and Control of Lava. And that got me about 1.3 procs. Now, I did get pretty lucky with the not Control of Lava, but it might make you think for a second. Okay, sure, these are rolling faster. You're getting a bit more proc. This is per Flame Shock. So if I had 3 out, this would give me almost another proc, on average. But you might say to yourself, well, is that really the focus of this? And I don't really think so. I think there's a lot of other things that could play into this that would be even very interesting. Like, for example, Fire Elemental also increases the proc rate of Flame Shock dealing damage. And Legendary is something else that people might start thinking about and playing around with. Skybreakers. Skybreakers increasing at Flame Shock has a 50% increased crit chance. Pretty dang good. Now you might think to yourself, well, maybe this will open up new compositions for Ellie, having this additional utility of Dispel protection. It is true that there's a lot of focus on other Warlock specs other than Affliction right now. I've been seeing more and more Destros, and we are seeing Demos. Demos are getting a lot of changes, and I really hope they come back. You might see the old LSD Demo style. I don't know about Fell Lord, but it could be pretty cool to, again, play some of those comps we used to play with our Druids coming back as well. Now, the question that, so overall, what do I think? I think it's awesome. I'm very excited about it. It is actually doing pretty significant damage on Dispel. Not as much as a UA, but pretty dang good. Now, the question you're going to ask, we already talked about the proc rates. How much is that a factor? Less so than I think the Dispel protection. You might again ask, well, Tiqqle, what about, how much disruption? It's about 1.5 seconds, which is almost the same as the GCD. You might ask, what happens if you Dispel 3 of them at the same time? Well, I would guess, I haven't tested it yet, but I would guess the outcome is they get thrown in the air once, but they get hit with damage multiple times. We do have to test that. We'll probably test that on the stream. Come by then. And so you might say, but Tiqqle, how does it fit in? And that's going to be the challenge. Where does it fit in? What PvP talents are you going to take? That's now a question that all these shamans are going to have to answer as they go into Arena in 9.1, given they now have Static Field Totem. They now have Season Winds, which was nerfed. Now it's 15% damage, but still could be pretty darn good against certain comps. The question will be, what do I take when? And that's a good question to have to answer, especially when you have a toolkit that could potentially be good against multiple things. So what we're going to be doing as a helper for you is we're going to be making a Google Doc that's going to show comp to comp matchups with explanations on what builds you could take, as well as what strategies to take. A lot of people have told me they like those videos where I have that. Well, I'm going to try to get the best of the best to try to help me out, especially for shamans, which are not usually in the top tier meta. I know someone could say turbo, this, that, but people, I think shamans are a difficult class to play compared to some other classes out there. But yeah, so we're going to be putting together that as part of our PvP guide for 9.1. So stay tuned for that. If you do like this content, make sure to hit the sub button down below, that like button, and come by the stream. I appreciate it. That being said, we'll see you on the stream or in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.